Tony, you have a great selection of Promise gluten-free there in front of you this afternoon, and thank you again to Promise for their support this year for Awareness Week. Tony, I don't know whether you know or not, or whether you may have seen this from this morning's social media. The app is live this morning in the Apple iTunes store. So for anybody who's on the call here, the Celiac Society Food List app and Food app is currently live on the Apple store. Tony, I'm hoping that'll certainly make lives an awful lot easier for people who go shopping in the shops now. As a chef yourself and as a caterer for somebody who's a celiac at home, how do you find shopping in the supermarkets at the moment for gluten-free foods?
Well, I have to say it's improved immensely from the time that I started out in business, when you had to mostly buy your celiac food in a chemist or in a very small section in a supermarket. We now have whole aisles filled with gluten-free food. And I think that's fantastic. And it's a testament to the work that you've done to bring awareness to it and how necessary it is.
It's great. It's great. We're really, really excited this morning. I mean, the technical issues had nothing to do with the app going into the App Store. It was certainly my lack of Zoom technology training at the moment. Tony, what are you cooking for us today? I know there's a couple of dishes you have you're going to go through with us. So what are you starting with? So
today I'm going to start with a few little ideas for brunch.
Great.
And I thought we'd start off, seeing as how there's such an abundance of rhubarb at the moment. I'm going to do a little French toast with the lovely purebred gluten-free brioche bread.
Oh, delicious.
For richness. And I'm going to be completely decadent with it today. We're going to be making it with cream and vanilla. But first of all, I have my compote made, and I think you should have had a few pictures of how I made it during the week up on your site. But it's just a bunch of rhubarb.
Great.
From your garden if you have it. If not, from the supermarket is perfectly good. Washed and sliced and added to a pan with a couple of tablespoons of sugar. And I added a tablespoon of cranberry juice just to give it that little bit of richness. Now, I used some fresh ginger grated in with it, about half a teaspoon. But if you don't have fresh ginger, it's just more for a little bit of background heat. You can add about a third of a teaspoon of ground ginger, but always just be aware that when you're cooking with dried herbs and spices, they're so much more concentrated and much stronger than the fresh that you're going to pick from your garden. So use a little bit less when you're cooking with dried. So
there's nothing like rhubarb and ginger, though. It gives it a good little zing. It brings it to life, doesn't it?
Oh, well, it's the taste of this time of the year.
Absolutely.
You know, so you couldn't not do something like that for this time of the year. So I'm just going to start really quickly with our egg for the bread. So I have lovely fresh free-range eggs here. So just going to crack one in. A little bit of caster sugar.
Vanilla essence, yeah?
Yeah, a little bit of vanilla essence, just to give that little background taste to it. And then your cream, the decadence.
Oh, cream, not milk, by God almighty.
Oh no, this is a Sunday morning or a Saturday morning brunch.
Oh my God, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I can see the calories piling up as we speak.
This is instead of your full Irish, so you can let loose a little bit. I know everybody's a little bit aware of the COVID kilo that they've added on, but you know, let's just forget it this week.
It's the 19 kilos we added on over the last year in raw life for sure. Actually, it's good to see the fact that you're using such lovely fresh ingredients in the cooking today, Tony, because one of the areas that we're looking at helping people to improve in, and especially across with restaurants and food producers this year as part of our strategic plan, which is available for our members in the member section of the website, is to improve the nutritional content of gluten-free products. And we're also hoping to work with restaurants across the country in relation to gluten-free catering. So I presume that's something you as a chef would be very conscious as in relation to the nutritional content of the products that you're actually putting out in front of people.
Yes, well, when you know people are much more conscious of the calories that they're putting in their body at the moment. People are very fitness conscious, and calorie counting is a big thing. And I think it is something that's going to come in the next couple of years, where restaurants are going to have to put the calories on their menu for people. So, you know, we just have to be aware of what we're putting into our food, and obviously the better quality ingredients that we can get, the better for our customers.
Oh, absolutely. And it's one of the things I know myself that I'm always very conscious of looking at the color coding on labels as well, in relation to, you know, the greens, the yellows, the oranges, and the black and the reds, in relation to that as well.
Yeah. It makes it really simple for people, and if it's nice and simple and easy, people will be more inclined to go to and look for it. It's like the gluten-free symbol.
Yes. The cross-grain sim, exactly. How long are you going to do those bits in the pan for now, Tony?
So I've just put a little, again, here we go with the COVID kilo. I've just added a little spoonful of butter, but you can cook it in oil, just until they're golden brown on each side. So you can see they're starting to take that color there now.
I notice you're using a heavy bottomed griddle pan, Tony. I presume you could just do it in an ordinary flat bottom pan as well.
You can do it whatever frying pan that you have, just a moderate heat. You don't want, I'm using a heavy bottom pan just to allow the heat to disperse a little bit more. But whatever pan you're comfortable with cooking, you just want a moderate heat. You just want it golden brown. You don't want clouds of smoke billowing out and smoke alarms going off everywhere. So just cook that for a few minutes. Until it's golden brown on each side and nice and cooked through in the middle.
Sounds looking good so far. I wish this was smell-o-vision, because I'm sure it smells delicious. And the compote, Tony, how long did it take you to put that together? Like, I mean, it doesn't take long to let the rhubarb stew and that kind of thing.
Not at all. The rhubarb, I think from start to finish, it was done in 8 minutes.
My God, that's quick. It's even quicker than apples.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, rhubarb, so simple. Pull it from the garden or from the fridge. Chop the leaves off, give it a wash, slice it up into the pan, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of cranberry juice, and just put it on a moderate heat again. Just keep it stirred so it doesn't burn.
And just from a nutritional perspective, I just wanted to make our members aware as well, is the fact that it's very high in vitamin C and very good in minerals. And there was this misnomer out there that rhubarb was bad for arthritis and inflammation in the joints. There was only ever one medical paper written on that, and even at that, the results, the findings of the paper there was a lot of skepticism around them. So discard the fact around the rhubarb being bad for your arthritis. Get it into you, Cynthia, as they say, because it's full of vitamin C and very good stuff.
Absolutely, and at this time of the year, it's absolutely at its best.
Perfect. I know where I'll be going after this.
So here we have our French toast. And then as much or as little of your compote as you want to add to it. Now, you can have your compote warm or cold, and this will keep in the fridge for a couple of weeks as well in a nice sealed container. And, you know, just to mitigate the eggs and the butter, instead of cream, I'm adding a nice little spoonful of creme fraiche just to top it off. And who wouldn't like that?
Like I said, I'll be down. When are you open again, Tony?
So we're hopefully back for the 7th of June for outdoor dining and takeaway.
Great.
And then we're looking probably at July.
And how will you facilitate the outdoor dining in Athy and Portlaoise?
Well, in Portlaoise, we certainly have ample space outside. We've a lovely cordoned off area at the front of the restaurant. With tables and chairs and plenty of space and a little canopy to cover it. And then in our back garden courtyard area, we have a lovely little canopy off area for people to sit out in a very sheltered area with lovely plants to surround them and enjoy their meal.
I'll definitely be down to you this year without a shadow of a doubt. It's been a while since I've been down, but I'll certainly make an effort this year with the cross-border travel now. Tony, that looks absolutely delicious and so easy and simple to do.
Yeah, very easy and simple. So our next dish that we're going to do, we're going to use the purebred sourdough bread again. So just to start that off, I'm literally just going to toast that on the pan.
And that's the promised gluten-free sourdough cob. It looks lovely,
Yeah.
and we were talking about this yesterday, how hard it is to get a good sourdough, but this is a good one, all right.
It's lovely. And just in the pan with that, I'm just going to add 2 pieces of gluten-free black pudding.
Okay.
And they can just be cooking away there as that's going. Then we're going to poach some eggs. No great mystery in poaching eggs.
I know, Tony, that's a misnomer. It's very hard to poach an egg.
If you want, you can add a little drop of vinegar. I prefer not to. It's just a personal thing. I'm not a big fan of the taste of vinegar off my eggs. It tends to overpower. So just give your water a swirl, and then into the swirling water, you add your eggs. And just very gentle heat on them. Once they come back up to a boil, you just want the bubbles barely breaking the surface. You don't want any mad rolling boiler. That's
no massive big boil, yeah. Just
so
in relation, sorry, Tony, I didn't mean to cut across you. Just going back to the black pudding, it's on page 138 of the food list, people, if you're watching. Clonakilty do a very good gluten-free black pudding, as do Inch House and Glendara, Hodgins as well, and Ross Carberry, just so you know where to find it in the food list.
Yeah, and any gluten-free black pudding, or even if you prefer white pudding, some people just don't like black pudding, there are gluten-free white puddings out there as well, and equally, they're just as lovely. So now we're just getting a little golden colour on our bread.
No oil in the pan there, Tony, for this one? No
oil in the pan, dry pan, and then we'll just let the fat that's in the black pudding do its thing.
Lovely.
So I'm going to leave that on its low heat there now. And we're going to do our avocado smash. So here I just have a ripe avocado.
How do you know it's ripe, Tony?
So if you ever see me in a supermarket and I'm looking for avocados, you'll see me picking up the avocados and just giving a little squeeze, a gentle squeeze. They should just give slightly.
Okay, not mushy.
They shouldn't be like bullets.
Right, but they shouldn't be like squishy, squashy, mucky anyway either.
No, if they're too squishy, they're usually black inside. So you want a firmness, but you want just it's almost like it's like pressing your finger there.
Right, the base of your thumb.
I'm pressing there. That much give is all you want. So I'm just going to cut that around the stone. There we go. That's our stone.
Oh, that's how you get the stone out of an avocado. That was pretty quick.
So then your spoon. And there we go.
You make that look so tidy. If I try that now, I'd have avocado everywhere. I'd probably have chopped off a limb as well, trying to get the stone out.
Well, plenty of practice. And there we go. That's our toast ready. So I'm just going to lift that off because we don't want to cremate that. And then we turn our pudding. Yeah, there's going to be a few bits and pieces going on here.
Yep, I'll leave you to it.
I'm just going to check my eggs. There we go.
Quickly they were done. And this just takes off any excess water that you're putting it out of to clean.
I like the little detail. Nobody likes water on their eggs. So I'm just going to leave those and let them drain there for a couple of seconds while I continue with my avocado smash. Now, so you just mash your avocado up like that with your fork.
And would you have to make this with sourdough, or could you use any of the breads in the promised gluten-free range there, Tony? I mean, I see you have some lovely rustic white. You've also got some lovely, I see as well, a nice kind of sourdoughy cob and a multi-grain there as well in front.
Any of the range. There's such a selection with the promised breads. You're actually spoiled for choice.
Yeah, it's great.
So any of the breads that's your favorite. This one for me is my personal favorite. So to this is your smashed up avocado. I'm just going to add a little bit of crushed garlic, purely personal taste. If you want a little bit of garlic with your breakfast in the morning, work away. Now, traditionally, you would add a little splash of lime juice or lemon juice.
Okay.
And a little drop of olive oil. Again, because it's brunch, I'm getting my acid from some sour cream.
Oh, lovely.
It just adds an extra layer of depth to your avocado smash, and the acid in the cream will stop your avocado turning black on you.
Great.
A little bit of salt and pepper. And that's it there. That's your smash ready.
Well, as Tony does that, I wanted to remind our viewers today that Tony has 2 restaurants, one in Athy and one in Portlaoise. And as he mentioned earlier on, they're going to be open from, please God, the 7th of June. In the meantime, because of intercounty travel, you can work out where they are via your Google Maps and check out the route. But also I wanted to remind everybody that we have a fantastic colouring competition for kids available on our website. And I know that information was sent out via the Celiac News Online as well last week. Some great prizes there for the kids if you want to get them involved in this awareness week. And also we have some fantastic prizes to be giving out this during this session as well. We have some Promise Gluten-Free hampers. We have some t-shirts from Debbie Nigon, who was on yesterday, and also some all-for-one vouchers. So once Jennifer, who is my backroom attendee today, once she goes through and sends me on the list of that, we'll be able to pull out the winners at random during the course of today's demonstration with Tony. Tony, that is looking really good. What did you do there with you took the pudding off?
So I have the black pudding off and I've just cut it up into dice. So now we're just going to assemble our dish. Now, what I have here is a little bit of homemade vinaigrette, and it's very simple. You can make it in bulk and have it in your larder. It's just a teaspoon of gluten-free mustard. Then I've added some balsamic vinegar. I generally do a 2-to-1 ratio, so that if you're doing a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar, it's 2 tablespoons of olive oil or any oil of your choice. Half a teaspoon of garlic, a little bit of salt and pepper, and just give it a little whisk up. Now, it will separate when you don't use it. If you put it in a bottle and just give it a little shake before you use it, you have a perfect dressing to use anytime. So here I have my vinaigrette, and I'm just going to add a little bit of that to my rocket. And literally all you want is enough to make your leaves glisten. You don't want them dripping in vinaigrette, because that's not the main part of your dish. So now, there we go. That's our avocado. And we just spread that out over our lovely sourdough.
Looks really good. And again, that's the Promise Gluten-Free range of sourdough.
It is indeed.
Available in all good supermarkets around the country. I sound like I've done that for a living. I'm able to say that line now. Look at that lovely poached egg.
Very simply, our poached egg then. Our rocket salad.
I know you're gearing up to put on that black pudding.
And there we go, our black pudding.
Oh, fantastic. That looks really good. Now, Tony, I know somebody has asked us here again on the chat about the black pudding. I'm not sure what range you use, but I do know on page 138 of the food list, the Celiac Society's food list, if you're members, it's on 138. There's Clonakilty, Glendara, Hodgins, Rosscarbery, and Inch House traditional pudding. So, Tony, that looks amazing. That didn't take too long at all.
So I think that's brunch covered.
I do indeed.
Any Saturday or Sunday morning that you're feeling a little bit, that you don't want to have the full Irish.
It looks gorgeous. Well done. That's lovely. All right, while you're gearing up there to get ready for the next course that we're moving on to, I just want to announce that we have some winners. We have a hamper for Martin Condon, a hamper for Rob Clifford, a hamper for Terry Mulvihill, and a hamper for Margaret O'Shea. Congratulations, everybody. And we have 2 t-shirts. We have a t-shirt for Ella Lovett and Niamh Graham. So if you just get in touch with Jennifer there on the chat, that's Jennifer Morrow from the Celiac Society, with your sizes and your contact details, we will be able to get those prizes out to you. What's up next, Tony?
So next, we're going to do our Suprema chicken with sausage and sage and onion stuffing.
Oh, this looks good. Like to see this now. The one thing I can't ever get right is the amount of sage to put into a stuffing. I love it, but I always end up making getting it more sagey than oniony.
It depends. If you're using dry sage, like I said earlier on, when you use a dried product, always err on the side of less is more.
Yeah.
A dried herb is so much more potent than the fresh. So I have fresh here today, and I have what probably amounts to about 3 teaspoons, which seems like quite a lot. But if I was using the dried version of that, it would probably be a little over 3/4 of a teaspoon.
Okay. It's
So,
quite concentrated then. The dried fruit ones are quite concentrated.
well, even just in the drying process itself, it concentrates the flavors so much.
Right. Good to know.
In our pan now, I'm just going to add yet a little more butter. Get that going. And
Just
then
while you're doing that, I'm just going to put up the details about the arts and crafts competition again for everybody on the chat here. So it's just gone up there. So if your kids want to enter, we have some fantastic prizes, one for all vouchers, promise gluten-free hampers, and of course there's entry categories for under 10s and under 16s. So check it out. If your kids are looking to get involved with Celiac Awareness Week, please do.
So now what we want to do is just cook our onions until they're soft but without colour.
Is there any oil or butter in that pan, Tony?
I have a little bit of butter in here. And again, no mad heat. You just want the butter foaming slightly before you add the onions to it. As soon as the onions hit the pan and they start to sizzle, turn your heat down and just cook them very gently. What you want to do is just release the flavors of the onion and not have you're not looking for a caramelized onion. You don't want to burn the sugars in it because you're not looking for sweetness to come through.
Almost translucence is what you're looking for here, I guess.
Exactly. That's exactly it. So now they're good. We'll add those into our bowl. This is some of our lovely promised gluten-free breadcrumbs. We'll just add that. Our fresh sage. And a little bit of salt and pepper. Give that a little mix. Now, you might think that looks a little bit dry, but remember, we're going to be adding our sausage meat to that now.
Ah, of course.
And this is our sausage meat.
Yeah, I presume it's gluten-free sausage meat. No,
it is indeed.
Of course it is. Goes without saying.
Which you will find again on your app, along with your black pudding.
Yes, the app now, people, is available on the Apple iTunes store. It's not, the Android version will be available later this week, just that this is how it takes, just different review stages for the app. So again, it's available now on the Apple iTunes store. And if you go on there, you can scan barcodes and also search the current food list up there as well for members. So Tony, I see you've really just kneaded everything together there.
That's it. There we have our stuffing, nice and simple. And you can make that ahead of time and have it stored in the fridge, or if you're having a dinner party or anything like that, these are things that you can have prepared and ready in the fridge, ready to go in, just to take pressure off you. So now we have our chicken breasts.
They look fine. They look very, very good chicken breasts, Tony. Are they free range?
They are indeed, from our local butcher. So here we now, just going to open the chicken breast here on the thickest part. Almost all the way through, but not quite.
You're just fanning it out, really.
Fanning it out, yeah. And then just give it a gentle tap with your hand, just to open it out. And these little fillets that come off them,
yep,
you can just flatten that slightly with your hand, just like that. And then take some of your stuffing, make it into a little sausage. Pop it in, take your fillet, lay it on top, and then just fold it over like that.
That looks so simple.
Very quick, very easy dinner to do. And there we go. And in the very same pan that you've just used to make your stuffing, because you have all these nice flavors going on in here.
Yeah.
Not to lose anything. Get your pan back on the heat again. And then pop your chicken on. And let that seal. You just want a little brown crust on each side, and then we're going to pop it in a tray and bake that in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes, depending on the size of the chicken breast that you have.
It looks good. That's fantastic. And that, I presume, will cook the sausage meat right through as well.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Again, sounds lovely. I wish it was smelly vision. So there's the multigrain loaf from Promise, the rustic sourdough from Promise, and I know Tony used the rustic sourdough, and we have the brioche that he used for the French toast. So I presume, Tony, you could use any of those by putting them into a food processor to make your own breadcrumbs.
Absolutely, any of those at all. And what I like to do, some people don't like to eat the heels of the bread, as we like to call them in Ireland. What I like to do is I save them in the freezer until I have a nice bag of them, and I just make breadcrumbs out of them then.
That's a great idea.
And I use the breadcrumbs for everything from stuffings to coating fish for deep frying. There's no reason why you can't have lovely fish and chips yourself.
Yeah.
If you make your own fresh breadcrumbs at home and buy your nice fresh fish from your local fishmonger.
That's a great idea. The heel hack I like very much. I'm very much for the heel hack. Putting the heels into the freezer bag. That's a good one. I never thought of that.
Yeah, yeah. And another little trick for your freezer bag, I'm going to make a gravy now in a second. So we have a little bit of colour on those, so I'm just going to pop them into the oven there. And while they're doing their thing, same pan again, because we have all the lovely juices on it. And we have our sage and onion. So your pork sausage with a little bit of sage and onion. So I'm just going to deglaze the pan now with a little bit of cider, little apple cider.
And deglazing means are you taking all of the flavors and
all of the cooking juices that are on the pan there now are going to go into the sauce.
Oh, lovely.
So nothing is wasted. So you can see the little bits of meat and onion and everything else. And the reason I'm bringing it to the boil, we want to burn off the alcohol. Now, you will sometimes see people flambeing a dish, and that's just a very grandiose way of burning off the alcohol, and it takes away the bitter alcohol taste, but leaves you with the lovely background flavors. So what we're going to get are the lovely concentrated apple flavors to go into our sauce to go with the chicken. So here I have a homemade gravy, and just getting back to our freezer bag moment again. If I cook a chicken or a Sunday roast or something like that, I like to either have a little bag or a little Tupperware box in the freezer, and all those lovely jellied cooking juices that are on the bottom of the tray. If you don't use those to make a gravy that day, I just pop them into a little container and into the freezer and have them then to make my homemade gravies.
That's a fantastic idea. Again, never thought of that. Tony, you're giving away all your secrets.
Well, we have to share a little. So I have the gravy here. Now, there we go. That's our, and this is going to make our lovely sauce to go with the chicken. So
Tony, if you didn't have a homemade gravy made yourself, could you use a store-bought gluten-free one to make up the gravy?
Absolutely. And I'll let you in on another little secret. I have used some of the store-bought homemade gluten-free gravy to give a little body. You know, the meat juices are beautiful for flavor, but just to give your gravy a little body, you can certainly thicken it with a little bit of an approved corn flour or one of the approved gravies.
Yeah, and on page 123 in the food list, for those of you using the book, Knorr do a fantastic range of gluten-free stock cubes, both beef, chicken and fish, as well as herb. And as do Jeffro, the online store, do a fantastic range of that as well. Check it out on page 123 and 124 of the food list, or if you download the app today from the Apple iStore, just search for gravies within that.
So now we have our gravy ready, and in time-honored tradition of cookery programs, here's one I prepared earlier.
Yeah, I love that. If only life was like that. I could just
If
have one
only.
that I prepared earlier.
If only. So now we're just going to slice our chicken, and you can serve this with your potato and veg. It'd be equally good with a savory rice.
Looks really delicious. Certainly puts the pasta I had for lunch in the halfpenny place, that's for sure.
There we go.
I could see that now with some nice roasties, some lovely baby carrots, some fresh petit pois. Oh, looks so good.
And there we go, our gravy.
That looks just fantastic. And look how simple that was. I mean, it didn't take that long at all, really.
No,
Like
not
you
at
said,
all.
you can do a fantastic amount of prep work the day before, the night before as well, which is great.
Absolutely, you can have everything done from the night before.
What would be your favourite side with that now, Tony?
Me, I love a little honey and butter carrot. Either baby carrots or just your regular in-season carrots. Give them a little, you can start them off by giving them a little steam, and then what I like to do to finish them off and serve them are just a little knob of butter in the pan, a little bit of honey, and just toss them in that and sprinkle a few chives over it at the last minute. Absolutely delicious.
Sounds delicious. Now my father at home now, he'd be a meat and two veg lad, so he'd have to have spuds in there somewhere. So I'm suggesting good roasties as well while you're roasting off the chicken in the oven.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, getting back to saving a few little treats. If you're ever roasting a duck and all those lovely oils off the bottom of the pan, save those in the fridge. They make absolutely fantastic roast potatoes. Right.
What are we up to now, Tony? We know we've one more to go, have we?
One more dish to go. And our last dish is pork fillet with creamy mushroom sauce.
This is good now. I'm delighted. I'm really looking forward to seeing this one because pork fillet can be hard to keep tender. And this is something I find I run into, is that I either overcook the pork or I'm afraid I'll undercook the pork. So this is good one. I'm really interested to see what you do with this.
So our pork fillet, obviously you'll see it in every supermarket. I'm going to batten it out nice and flat, and it will cook in no time. So here we have our pork fillet. You will see that they're about that length. As you can see now, I've cut them into medallions. And then I've battened out our medallions. Now, nice flat.
Can you use a rolling pin to do that?
You can use a rolling pin. You can use a heavy knife. You can use a frying pan. Just make sure that you're on a very solid surface when you're doing it. You don't want to be doing it in the middle of your counter and sending everything flying.
Yep.
So what I like to do with my pork medallion is I pop it. I get a little Ziploc bag.
Yep.
Put a tiny little drop of water into it, and then just pop it in. And then over the corner of my table, I'm using a nice big flat edge knife.
Oh, mother of Jesus. That's a huge knife.
You don't need to hit it particularly hard. Just tap it out.
Look how quickly that flattened out. I didn't expect it to do that at all.
There we go. Very simple. And that's all you need. And there we go.
It's a great way of getting out your anger issues as well.
Oh, any issues at all. So what we're going to do now is coat this in our lovely promised gluten-free breadcrumb. So our saved breadcrumbs, I've just put them through a blender. And then to give them a little variety, we're going to dip them into flour, so which is any kind of gluten-free flour at all. It's really just to dry off the surface of the meat, to allow the egg wash to do its job in making the crumbs stick to it.
And I presume that's gluten-free plain flour you'd use, Tony. You wouldn't use self-raising flour there.
Gluten-free plain, whatever you have, gluten-free plain, gluten-free self-raising, corn flour. Like I say, it's literally
just to dry the meat.
Just to dry the surface of whatever you want to breadcrumb. Because the breadcrumbs, they need the egg wash to help them stick and form that little crust for you.
Great.
There we go. So I'm just going to continue doing these here when we have the 3 of them done.
I'm starting the car engine now, Tony. I'll be down to you in about 20 minutes.
And you'll be here just in time for them to be out of the oven.
Perfect. Fantastic. Now that's if I can hit the M7 fast enough.
Well, as long as you only hit it in spots, you should get here.
My flying car is getting ready as I speak.
So here we are in our heavy bottom pan again. I've had that on preheating. So I'm just going to get a golden crumb on these now, and then we'll pop them into the oven again.
Again, Tony, is that a dry pan you've put them into, or did you put a little bit of oil on it?
Well, as you can see, I'm just adding a little bit of butter now.
You're a great man for the butter. You're a great man for the butter, as they say down home.
The butter, and I'm adding a little bit of oil to that as well. It just helps the butter to come up to a higher temperature without burning.
Ah, right.
So there we go. You can see the butter sizzling away. And literally, we just want to get a little bit of color on these, and then we're going to pop them into the oven. And while they're cooking, I'll go through the sauce.
Great.
It's a very simple sauce. So we can be getting those ready for it now. So we have our onions diced, mushroom sliced, most importantly, our white wine.
Oh, absolutely. My God, you didn't mention we were going to have drink at this party as well, Tony. Thank God for that.
1 for the pan, 2 for the chef.
Absolutely, if not 3.
Well, possibly 3, but
yeah, depending on the day.
Dinner done first.
Yeah.
So there we go. You can see the golden color starting.
Yeah, they look really good. They look really, really nice.
Pork fillet, such a lovely meat. It's very low in fat, which is why I can go and add a nice creamy sauce to it, to give it that little bit of richness, because it is so lean.
But the Lord taketh with one hand, he giveth with the other.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm a firm believer.
They look really good. Now, how long will you put them into the oven for, Tony, and what temperature around? I meant to ask that about the chicken as well. So what did you put the chicken in at?
The chicken went in at 200, then we turn it down to 190 and cook it for 15 minutes.
Okay.
These are going to go into at 190.
Right.
We're going to have the color on these before they go into the oven. So it's literally just to cook them through, which will take no more than 10 minutes. You can see how they're battened out so thin.
Yeah.
They take no time at all.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic.
You can see now the color is starting to come up on them.
Yeah, no, they look really good. Really, really good.
So I'm just popping them onto a tray with a little bit of parchment on it. And into our oven they go.
Great, now we're on to the wine.
And then we're on to the wine. The most important part.
Absolutely. Now, is that a Chardonnay or a Sauvignon Blanc or a Pinot Grigio you're using?
Whatever you fancy. one
as long as it's white and has alcohol in it.
So I'm just going to get a pot and we'll start on that.
There's a man who's thought summer has started already. You're hot in your leather today with your shorts.
Nobody was supposed to see those legs.
Now, that's all right. They don't look too bad from here.
So into our pan, another little bit of butter.
Look, it's Irish butter. It's made from grass-fed milk cows. It can't be it's the best butter in the world as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely, absolutely. So in our pan here, I've just added a small little bit of garlic, and we're going to add a couple of spoonfuls of our diced onion and let them sweat. And then we're adding our mushrooms as well. And we're just going to let those sweat, the same as we did for the stuffing, without colour.
Yep.
Let all the flavours come out. There we go.
They're really, really nice now. They're looking really good.
Once that's underway, the all-important ingredient, the wine.
Now, Tony, how do you know how much to add in there now? Like, I mean, that didn't look like very much.
Literally, we just want enough. And again, you can see I'm just burning off the alcohol because you want just the lovely wine flavour, but you don't want the harshness of the alcohol on it. Plus, this being a cream sauce, I want to let that reduce now and let most of the wine go, because if you add the cream at this stage now, it's just going to turn your cream on you.
Yeah, it'll split the cream. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we let that reduce down, concentrate the flavours of our onions and garlic and mushrooms and really get them in there in the wine. It'll be almost dry again by the time I add the cream to it.
And how long will that take about?
It shouldn't take too long. You don't need to do it terribly quickly. A medium heat again, and you can see they're just gently bubbling away. You don't want to burn it off too quickly, because you'll end up with that caramelized flavor again from burnt onions and burnt mushrooms. You're not looking to caramelize. This is a white sauce, so you're not looking to caramelize anything. If we were making a stew, we'd be going the other way.
Yeah,
we'd be looking to get that nice golden color on everything.
Want to try and keep everything just nice and light. Yeah, I get that. Tony, go back a bit now and tell me, when did you open the restaurant in Athy again? Remind our listeners here today, our viewers today.
So we are 16 years in Athy, and we are 5 years in Portlaoise.
Fantastic. And just to reiterate to those who don't know and who may be thinking about travelling this year, Athy is on the River Barrow, and they do have lovely barges and boats on the Barrow from Athy, and it's a great trip down the river to see parts of Carlow and Kildare, but also then you can come back and have a lovely lunch or dinner or evening meal in the Bay Tree in Athy. And Tony's restaurant is fully catering for celiacs. In fact, non-celiacs are in the minority, if I'm not mistaken, in your restaurant. Isn't that right?
They are indeed. They are indeed. And just to say that we also have the famous Shackleton Museum in Athy, that run a summer and autumn school.
Oh, fantastic.
So if there are any history books there and are interested, that's worth a look in.
Absolutely. And
so
are we ready to add cream?
Yeah, so there we are. Our pan is dry again. Our flavours are concentrated, and then we just add our cream to that. And we'll let that reduce slowly until it's a slightly thickened.
And Tony, the move to Portlaoise, then the decision to open up in Portlaoise, whereabouts are you in the town or out of the town in Portlaoise?
We're in the centre of the old part of the town. In Hines Square.
Oh, lovely.
Just off the main street.
And
I know it's a lovely enclosed kind of courtyard square. And the Portlaoise Council are adding new dine-out areas in that particular square and at various other places around Portlaoise to help support the restaurants that are reopening after obviously the COVID break.
Yeah, no, I'm delighted to hear that, because I think one of the things that we've all sort of learned from COVID is just how important our local businesses are to our communities, but also as well just how much we actually enjoy being outdoors. Now, I know we don't have the weather for it always, and if I hear one more person tell me that it's not bad weather, it's bad clothing, I think I'll hit them after a year of being outside. But still, it's lovely to think that in the summertime we will be able to have more eating out opportunities,
Yes.
which is I'm looking forward to.
I think it'll become the new norm. We'll get more used to dining outdoors.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a change in mind shift.
Yeah, we've all done that for the last 18 months, that's for sure.
So here we are, our sauce is just ready. You can see the consistency.
Lovely.
And now it's time to put our dish together.
Now, I see a question here, Tony, and this is a good one for you. If a person doesn't use alcohol, what liquid can be used instead of the sauce? Could you use like a vegetable stock, a chicken stock?
You can indeed, or you can go with, if you really want to get the flavors into it, you can do grape juice.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And just let it treat it exactly the same way as I have the wine, just let it reduce, just to burn the acidity out of it so that it doesn't turn your cream.
Okay, I never thought of that. Grape juice, fantastic.
Yeah. Readily available in most supermarkets. Look for something that's low in sugar. You don't want to sweeten your dish too much.
Yeah.
So we'll just put our dish together.
Great, fantastic. So again, just want to say thanks again to everybody who's been watching here today. We're not finished yet, as Tony said he has to plate up, but we do have some great winners today for the Promise gluten-free hampers and the t-shirts. So to remember again, it's Martin Condon, Rob Clifford, Terry Mulvihill and Margaret O'Shea who won the hampers. Congratulations. The t-shirts went to Ella Lovett and Niamh Graham. Get in touch with Jenny to give her your details in relation to getting those prizes to you and the sizes for the t-shirts. And as I said as well, don't forget for the kids, for the art and craft competition, it's available there on our website, and there are prizes for your children under 10s and under 16s in relation to colouring and art competitions. So Tony is just plating up there. Oh my God, I turn away for a minute and look at the fantastic dish he's put in front of us. Oh my God, that looks amazing. Look at that. Pork scallops with a mushroom and cream, white wine and cream sauce. Is that right, Tony? Would I be right in my description?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. So
Tony, talk us through the 4 dishes then that you made for us today.
Okay, so we started with our French toast. And just to say, the French toast, equally as good as a dessert, an emergency dessert if you have people coming in. Very simple and very easy to do. So we started off making up our egg mixture with some cream, caster sugar, vanilla essence and an egg. Then we dipped our lovely brioche, Promise gluten-free brioche into that and gently fried it in a little bit of butter, as we have done everything today.
Don't worry about that. That's nutritional. It's all very good for you.
So we got that nice and golden brown, and then we just served it with some of our homemade rhubarb compote, rhubarb and ginger compote. Rhubarb in abundance at this time of the year, obviously, so very readily available and easy to prepare. Our next dish then was our avocado smash on Promise rustic white cob with the poached eggs and
lovely black pudding here.
Gluten-free black pudding.
Looks great. Looks fantastic.
And our next dish then was our supreme of chicken with our sage and onion stuffed, sausage meat stuffed breast with our cider gravy. Still looks good. And we finished off then with the pork scallop. With our pork scallops. All simple, easy dishes, quick to prepare. Absolutely, and I mean, it just goes to show the versatility of the breads. It's not just about sandwiches and bread and butter pudding. It's all about what you can do to make a really good nutritional meal for you and the family. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and the whole family.
Absolutely, exactly. And I mean, that French toast will go down just as well with maple syrup and honey for the kids if they want it, if they're not into the rhubarb. The pork escallop is just fantastic. You don't have to make it with the cream and the mushroom and the white. You can have it with chips. You can have it with anything. It looks really, really good.
Absolutely.
But I think for that special occasion and even the Sunday dinner, the chicken supreme is certainly got it for me. The hippie in me wants the avocado smash for my breakfast on Saturday morning, but I think I might be hitting up the chicken supreme. Tony, I just wanted to run through and see if we have any questions here. If there's any questions for Tony, we have a few minutes left on the demo this morning. Just in relation to the app, just to repeat that, it's available on the Apple iTunes App Store at the moment. So if you have an Apple phone, an iPhone, you'll be able to download it for that. The Android version for Samsung and non-Apple phones, we're hoping will be ready out by the end of this week. It's a new departure for us, as I mentioned, but we will have on it recipes as well as the opportunity to save shopping lists, and also in the future we hope we'll be able to maybe host like things like your own medical history for if you go to the doctor and that kind of thing. I see a question here now. Mary Horkin from Promise Gluten Free says that's dinner tonight sorted, plus brunch at the weekend. So thank you for that. And she wants to say on behalf of the team in Donegal, thanks for all the amazing recipes and inspiration. And we're delighted to be able to do that for you. The gravy, Tony, will you go through the gravy again first? So remind us what you did with that.
So we started our chicken dish with our sage and onion stuffing. So in the same pan that we fried our onions in, we then deglazed it with some apple cider and let that reduce, let the alcohol burn off, and let the flavors concentrate. Then to that, we added our homemade gravy, which is basically just our roast meat juices that we've saved. And then I personally added a little bit of one of the Knorr gravies,
right,
just to give it a little bit of body. And we added that to our reduced apple cider and let that come to consistency.
And if anybody's concerned about wanting to watch that back, this has been recorded, just for Tony and myself chatting, and you'll be able to see it, play it back. It'll be available on the member section of the website. Let me see what else we got. Somebody says, can they move down with you for a few days? They're tired of cooking.
Absolutely, no problem.
Great, we'd be delighted to have you, that's for sure. If you have any questions on the app, why don't you get in touch with us at info@celiac.ie. Specifically, we'll be able to help you there. We know that we're going to have a few teething problems over the next couple of days as people get used to it and get used to being able to log into it. It's a collaboration. This is a community effort that we want to get everybody's feedback into it as well. So I'm expecting Tony and the crew in his house to start using it as well if they can, and to give us their feedback on it as restaurant owners as well. Tony, I've been asking everybody this as well when we started this week. Awareness Week is about getting out there and highlighting just how important it is for celiacs to look after their health, look after their nutritional health as well, but also in order to spread the word amongst restaurateurs about how important it is to cater for this section of the market. How do you go about, I mean, obviously getting the message out there about the restaurants in Athy and Portlaoise?
Well, we do concentrate heavily on our social media side of it, but also we do a lot of in-house training with staff, continuous training with staff and with customers. For me, I concentrate particularly on the kitchen end of it, working with our chefs to create new recipes, to recreate old recipes, old favorites, food that people miss that they haven't been able to have in many years. I tend to work a lot on pastries and cakes and things like that, just to give people, you know, something as simple as an apple pie.
Yeah.
But for me, it's about education. Education on the products that people use, education in terms of hidden glutens.
Yes.
And education on cross-contamination. things like that. I think they're most important for kitchens.
Absolutely, and it's one of the areas that we're hoping to work on and to concentrate on with our new online training for restaurants and kitchens, which we're hoping to launch by the end of this year. We're very lucky to have Francis Buckley, a chef who works with us now, as well as yourselves, to give us, you know, your viewpoint on what areas that need to improve in kitchens. So it's fantastic to be able to call on the likes of Francis and even be able to get in touch with you guys now as well. I know you'll be busy now with the reopening and everything, but also to be able to talk to you as stakeholders and that kind of thing.
Yeah, we're very much looking forward to getting reopening and getting back to looking after all our celiac customers. We've missed them as much as they've missed us.
A sense of normality, which is what we're all hoping to move back into anyway, that's for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So Tony, I don't see, oh yeah, somebody says here about spices and salt and peppers. Which brands do you use?
Oh, spices. I generally use whatever's on the approved list. I go through that quite frequently because, as you know, sometimes when something is approved for a month or two, a company could change factories and all of a sudden it's not approved anymore. So I would tend to stick, the app is going to be a fantastic tool for me to use now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's because that'll be what we call a dynamic list. It's a list that can be updated and changed, whereas the food list, as you and most of our members are aware, it's a static list. It's a list basically of products that are available and as we go to print. So if you're looking in relation to currently in the book about herbs and spices, you're looking at pages 118 to 124 in this year's food list. And again, if you look on the app and the searchable section of the app, there will be able to go through that for you as well. Don't forget there is a barcode scanner on the app, so you can scan labels while you're out and about and shopping. If something doesn't come up, you then have the opportunity to actually contact us immediately from the app to let us know about a product if it's not there as well. Tony, I'm not going to keep you much longer. In fact, we're just coming up on 2 o'clock now. I just want to say a huge thank you personally again for you know, your work with the Celiac Society since I've started, since I've met you. So thank you again very much for that. The very best of luck with the reopening. I hope to God I'll be down to see you, please God, over the summer.
Looking forward to seeing you.
And again, thank you to everybody who tuned in today. At one point, we had almost 80 people on the call today looking in on the demo, Tony. So you know, you'll get celebrity chef status yet, my friend, that's for sure.
Looking forward to seeing everybody when we reopen again. And thank you for all your hard work in the Celiac Society, and thanks to Mary and Purebread. Promise gluten-free bread. It's fantastic to be working with.
Range is brilliant. Mary was saying there's 28 different types of products they now do. So we're really looking forward to working with them over the course of the year as well. And again, thanks to Promise for supporting Awareness Week and for supporting this cookery demonstration with Tony Dempsey of the Bay Tree Restaurants in Athy and Portlaoise. My thanks to you, Tony, and the team there. Thanks a million. Have a great week. Slán the fall.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.